Yo, it's Underground Rap News. Today we're going to be here interviewing Jada's. So we're just going to jump right into it. First question I have for you is how did you come up with your artist name?
All right. So throughout my career, I actually had like so many artist names. At first, it was just my legal name, and then it was Taluna, which was like an Xbox fucking name that sounded fucking sick for a little while. Then I scratched that because during that time when I had Taluna, I feel like it just resonated with a part of my artistry self that wasn't fully involved yet. So in order to keep evolving, I switched my name again to Jadis, and because it just sounded cool, honestly, and it was the name of a song that a punk band did that I saw before, and I just thought it sounded fucking sick, so I fucking stuck with that.
All right. What city did you grow up in?
I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, but I didn't live here my whole life. I kind of lived everywhere. I was born in Guatemala, then I lived in Maine, Lincoln, Maine for a while. Then I moved to Pennsylvania after my parents got a divorce and lived in the Harrisburg, Gettysburg area for a while, and then lived out in Youngstown. So yeah, I'm here now.
All right. So how old are you right now?
I am 20 years old.
All right. So how would you describe your childhood and how did that lead up to you getting into music?
My childhood was actually pretty good for, the most part. I grew up in a very nice home on the nice side of my city that I lived in for the first part of my life. And music has just kind of always been in my life. I've started doing it when I was like 4 years old and shit. I mean, my mom would take me to the freaking grocery store and I would just like sing to the cashiers and shit. And like, it was pretty good. I mean, I don't remember if my mom was like, oh, yeah, you got a good voice. This kid has talent. And all the cashiers would make their day. Um, and then from there, I just like kind of started singing in like church choirs and kind of moving up and then doing like stuff of that nature. And actually, around the age of 12, it got to the point where I started getting into like travel choirs around where I lived. And then eventually, I actually, up until that point, the biggest moment that I think I've had is I auditioned for a backup choir for a Christian singer. His name, I think, is like Stephen Curtis Chapman. And I did that
Mhm.
for like a year. And yeah, and then in my teenage years, I kind of started like doing open mic nights and performing in bars and stuff like that. And that was kind of cool doing that. So yeah.
All right. So what's the story behind what really led up to you actually recording your first song and dropping it?
Well, actually, I didn't start getting into hip hop until I got into high school. So up until that point, I really didn't like listen to much. I used to listen to a lot of my dad's records. He was really in the punk rock and shit. He was like some punk rock dude in the freaking 80s and shit. So I listened to that and a lot of my mama's records. But in high school, I always knew I wanted to do music. It's just I didn't see myself doing hip hop until like I said around my high school years. And it was during COVID when I got serious about it. And I didn't release anything up until that point. I just kind of like put everything on SoundCloud and shit, and then I
Mhm.
deleted it because I thought it was shit. Um, but up until that point, I was just like an engineer for other artists, and I would co-write with other artists. But the song I wrote now, I've been putting it off for like a few months, writing my own, making my own shit because I was like, I'll do it, and then I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So I got in the studio. I worked with a great engineer. His name is Cameron Strice. He's great, and I made the song that I have out now. I'm teasing on a second song on my social medias at the moment, but yeah, that's how that came about.
So, who would you say were some of your biggest inspirations?
On the hip hop side, definitely like Ken Carson, Lil Uzi, Mac Miller was definitely one of them. Um, Frank Ocean, even like on the rock side, like Prince and stuff like that. In terms of like performance arts, I have so many people that I look up to on so many different genres. But yeah, people I guess that are just like really theatrical with their music and performance arts are people that I really look up to.
Mhm.
So
All right. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you faced in your career, and how did you overcome them?
well, when it came to obviously on the artist spectrum of things, I guess just trying to like I was always so picky at the beginning of how I wanted my music to sound until I knew how to communicate that. And obviously being an engineer for our artists helped as well. But I guess just trying to like communicate with that people and also networking because I was like, I don't want to say I was shy for a long time, but I was like hella antisocial. So trying to like get over that hurdle of getting networking, meeting connections, people in my city, I think was the biggest thing, honestly. But once I did it, like everything just like happened so quickly.
All right. What would you say were some of the biggest steps you took to get you to where you are now?
Investing in myself and networking. I know so many artists are afraid to fricking pay for either studio time, promotion, fricking pay for yourself. If you're not going to invest in yourself, no one else is going to either.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
So I always tell people, like, and especially when it comes to marketing, like 5% of your career is going to be making music, 30% is going to be marketing it.
Yeah,
And I learned that, especially when it came to engineering and freaking writing songs for people. It's just like, it's the music industry, it's the music business. And if you don't have that business mindset, then you're not going to make it, especially if you're not signed, or even if you are signed to a smaller label, you're doing most of the work yourself, because the chances of you getting signed to a big fucking label are small as fuck, even if you have a buzz going on. So it's just like, yeah, just
yeah,
freaking like investing in myself has helped a lot.
yeah, for sure. So, how did your friends and family react when you first started releasing music to the public?
Oh, my mom's always supported me. My dad too. Always, she wasn't much of like a hip hop person. She never really liked it. She always thought it was kind of icky and shit. So but once she heard my music and stuff, she was like, "All right, I like this." And she always believed in me too, because she always knew I was ambitious. She knew I wasn't talented, but she also just knew I was like, I worked my ass off as well. Like I come from a very hardworking, ethic family. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So she always knew that I was able to do it, and she's seen the success that I had already as an engineer, and then going into the artist realm of things. She didn't have doubt. She was like, I believe you can do this and go at it, and I want you to be happy and live out your dreams. So I'm so thankful to have a family and parents that have that mentality and attitude.
For sure. So, what would you say has been your favorite moment in your career so far?
I think meeting a lot of people. Um, I mean, I met in Youngstown. I met so many rappers too. I
Who's
met
the most famous person you've met?
probably Daisha Doll. For anyone that doesn't know who the fuck she is, she's got a lot of people think it's goofy as fuck, but she's got like a Jolene remix that's going on crazy on TikTok right now. I wanted to meet Crazy Chris. He's from my city as well. He died like 2 years ago. I really wanted to meet him. I met Tay Ray. Um, those are some of the biggest artists. I mean, like
Mhm.
Daisha Doll's like well in the 500,000s by now, almost at the millions. She's out in LA right now, actually. Tay Ray's getting close to there, but yeah, the city I come from, like, because it's surrounded by other cities like Cleveland and Akron and stuff, and the underground music scene wasn't really that popping for a while, but I've seen it become what it is now. And honestly, I feel like that Youngstown is going to be like the next city that's going to be like noticed, especially in the Midwest.
All right. So, my next question for you, I'm sure the fans are wondering, what are you working on right now, and when can we expect your next release?
Well, I'm right now working on like I said, I'm teasing my single
Mhm.
Jealousy right now.
Do you have
And
a set date for it to drop?
we don't know. I'm actually signed to a smaller label right now, and we're
Mhm.
talking about that. We're shooting for April just because we want it. Because when I put out my first single, I didn't do so well with the momentum of marketing it, and it's doing all right now. But like we sat down and we were like, we could have done better with this. I could have done better. So it's probably going to be April 1st is the first is what we're shooting for.
All right.
It might change, but as of now, it's April 1st. And then there's going to be an album with that, with some features. It's going to be fucking fun.
All right. So, aside from marketing, what's your plan of how you're going to continue blowing up and continue elevating as an artist?
Doing local shows, doing features. One thing that I really want to start doing, that one of my homies starts doing it, which is really creative, is he now it's still kind of on the marketing side, but it's very creative. He started reaching out to like YouTube channels, like gaming channels, commentary channels, and was like, "Yo, you should use my song in your video if you fuck with it." Channels that have like around a few 100,000 or even near to million subscribers, and he did that and it worked. So I would like to start doing that. I've been into contact with a few channels here and there, but yeah, if I can definitely get that gig, that's going to help a lot, and that's something that I think is going to help.
Yeah, for sure. So, what are some of your biggest goals that you'd like to accomplish by the end of the year?
Obviously, get this album out. Um, I guess really be at a point where I kind of am working on music full time, not as an artist, but as an engineer and producer and
Mhm.
shit. Um, do that. I would love to get out to LA to work with people. I got a people that I'm talking to right now that I really want to get features with, like Joey's Fire, 10 Tempo, C Money Baby. They're all from in the Dayton area, still Ohio. Even just like bigger people to, I guess, get those placements down, get my money up, and just like be able to be doing this full time, which is I'm really close to that as of now, even though I just started.
All right. So my next question for you, I know you said you're signed to a small label right now, but I want to ask, would you ever consider signing to a mainstream label? And if you did, what would that ideal contract need to look like?
If I get signed to a major, first of all, the money's got to be right.
Mhm.
Because obviously the first deposit that I got when I signed was not bad, but like it went pretty quickly, but I did spend it wisely. Um, I still want creative like freedom and shit because I know so many people that get stuck in labels, even people that I know on a personal level that'll sign to like just medium sized labels and they're stuck there forever and they can't do shit. Um, so being able to have that creative freedom and also just being able to like kind of say what I want because like I said, a lot of labels restrict you what the hell you're saying.
Mhm.
And I have a big mouth sometimes and I speak on what I'm passionate about and that too. So yeah, and also people just like see my vision. Like I'm not being bitched around and saying, "Oh, put this out because it's hot," or say this shit because it's I think this sounds better. People that see my creative vision and let me be in control of that.
Yeah. All right. So who are the top three artists you want to collab with one day?
Hmm. Ken Carson's definitely one of them. The first one that I said earlier, "See Money Baby," really love that dude. He's fucking fire. I really want to do that with him. Um, Uzi is, I guess, one of them.
All right.
A lot of underground people, honestly. Tay Money, maybe. Yeah, people like that. Most of these people I just mentioned are within reach of right now, but I just like I'm really into like the underground shit
Mhm.
more than the mainstream shit at the moment, to be honest with you. So yeah.
All right. So who's your favorite artist you've collabed with so far?
Well, I haven't really done a song with anyone, but I have collaborated with Khalid. He's an artist from Hanover, Pennsylvania. We did a song on his SoundCloud along with another dude, and he's just so fun to work with. His flow is like really like Kendrick Lamar type shit, but it's like he's just a really fun dude to work with, and I've been in a write with him a few times, and out of most people that I worked with, he's just like the easiest, the most fun, and like he knows what he wants. Like boom, 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 gets it done. So I think that's the favorite, the fit, the most favorite person I worked with so far.
All right. So out of all the songs in your discography, what would you say is your favorite?
Well, I have one out right now, but definitely on my SoundCloud, there's older ones. I had a song called "Let's Go." I think it's on my other SoundCloud, which is also in my link tree and my Instagram. It was like a hyper pop, like freaking pop punk type song, and I
Mhm.
worked so hard on that, and that was like really fire. So that's definitely my favorite one. It took like a week to get done. I wrote it in like 5 minutes, but actually the production and engineering of the song took like a week. It was insane.
All right.
It's crazy.
So what would you say is the biggest thing that makes you different from other artists?
I think that I really take inspiration from other artists and I'm extremely self-aware, which is like why it took me so long to be able to get comfortable putting out my music because I am so self-aware, but also that when you grab other elements of different genres, you really put yourself in a situation artistically and creatively where you're not confined into a box. Because a lot of people will say that, like, oh, I want to be like this, artists want to be like that, and this and the third, but they don't actually have those creative, like, elements to be that person. So I feel like just looking up to a bunch of different genres from artists and all that stuff sets me apart and taking inspiration from those musically and aesthetically as well.
All right. So do you have any other hobbies outside of music?
Oh yeah. I'm really if I wasn't doing music, I would definitely be in like business. I just got started in remote closing right now, so I love doing that. I love skateboarding. Um I love gaming a bit, even though I kind of stopped doing that because I've been so freaking busy. Um, Hanging out with friends, I'm really into like, I'm kind of like a car enthusiast as well, to be honest with you. And yeah, just shit like that. So
All
yeah,
right.
but
So my next question for you is, what's your average daily routine look like right now?
at the moment, I'll wake up sometimes earlier, sometimes not so earlier. I will get food or something I don't really eat unless I need to go somewhere. I'll like check emails and shit, see if I have something from someone, check my Instagram, see if I have any business requests or whatever. Um, and then if I have client work I need to do, I usually knock it out then. Then I'll take a break and go do something like go get lunch or like just go get some fresh air, and then I'll get back to doing some work. If I have a session that day, I'll definitely go and do that. Um, and then once I get all that done, like probably before like the late afternoon, I pretty much have the day to myself and I just like chill. So
All right.
yeah.
So my next question for you is, what's your number one biggest red flag in a girl?
I know a lot of dudes said this already, but guy best friends is, I mean, like,
Yeah, for sure.
you fucking can't get over that. Also, if they're like a freaking pick me, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
okay to be like freaking like have your own interests and shit, but you can tell when like I appreciate it when someone's like interested in shit that I'm in. It makes me feel special. But when they're like bowing down, trying to like get approval from other dudes, whether that's like opinion based or just hobby based, like I can tell when you're kind of opposed to just be yourself, like be yourself, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So what would you say is your biggest green flag in a girl?
Loyalty and support, and also someone that is like not overbearing, you know, not gonna lie, like I like people that are like clingy to an
Hmm.
extent. You know what I mean? Like someone that wants my attention and wants to be with me. But like I've been in relationships that are like they always want to know what I'm doing 24 hours a day. And like I said, I'm a busy person. So like I just don't always have the time. But like someone that is, I guess, like their boundaries are flexible, but they're there. You know, obviously I
Hmm.
don't want them going to sleep around and shit, but like they're flexible, you know.
Yeah. All right. So I know you said you used to play a lot of games. What are some of your favorite games to play?
Used to be really in the COD for a while. Forza definitely was one of the big ones. I played that so fucking much. Um, I used to have I was a big fucking nerd in high school. I used to like have a bunch of Minecraft servers and shit. I would just run on Discord and I'd play that for hours. Warzone definitely. So yeah, shit like that, you know.
All right. Do you like any sports?
Um, I'd say skateboarding. I mean, in middle school I played basketball and I played soccer, and then in high school I kind of quit doing that because I was so like in my high school days I was like so that's when I became so locked into music that I just kind of quit and I started doing other things as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, but I mean I still do skateboarding and I consider that like an extreme sport. But yeah, so I
All right.
played sports throughout middle school.
All right. So what's your all-time favorite fast food restaurant?
Definitely Raising Canes. For anyone that hasn't had Raising Canes, that's not like from like the Midwest or whatever. It's so freaking good. And yes, it is as good as people make it out to be. It's so freaking good. Five Guys definitely as well, but Raising Cane's just it's fucking fire. Like get the whole fucking cup of sauce. Just
Mhm.
dip that shit.
All right. So what would you say is your favorite clothing brand right now?
This is a good question. I love Vans, honestly. Polo's a good one. Um, you know, Versace too, even though I only own like a few fucking products of them. But like I like high end brands and stuff, but I like brands that are more like I like Vans and shit like that, you know. Um, I have a lot of that stuff. I shop at Zoomies and shit a lot. It's just like, yeah, and the newer stuff that they come out like exclusive shit like is like so nice.
Mhm.
And if I get bored of a hoodie or something, I'll just resell it for like $100 and it'll sell well. So yeah, I like them a lot.
All right. So I know you said you're a car enthusiast. So what are some of your dream cars for when you get rich?
You know, obviously I would love to have a Porsche and a Lambo, but I'm really in the classic cars. I really want to have an old Chevy Nova, maybe like a '69 Chevy Nova. An old Ford Bronco. I love those so much. Um, Definitely like an old Lamborghini truck. The new ones are kind of goofy as fuck, but like I really want to have like the old ones. They look really cool. Um, so yeah, even just like yeah, even like an old Mustang, like an old like 1970s Mustang, like that would look really cool. Like I'm really in the classic cars more than anything, really. So
Hmm.
yeah,
All right. So what kind of car do you currently drive?
I drive a 2011 Toyota Camry. I'm currently modifying it. Like I switched out the entertainment system. I want to get it wrapped. About to get new wheels on it. You know, it's cheap. It's what you make it. My insurance rate's low, but you know, it's
Hmm.
one of those cars that like I have an opportunity to make something great out of it. So that's what I'm going to choose to do. But I would like to get a new vehicle. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So what would you say are some of the biggest things that motivate you as an artist?
I think like uh the people. I see all the freaking time. Like artists will say like they'll get those comments that are like, "Oh, bro, you saved my life. Like you got me out of suicide or whatnot. Or your music really pushed me to do this." And you know, besides like the artistic me wanting to be put out there and being heard from the world, just being able to help other people and connect with people through my music, I think is like the biggest motivator because it's like, wow, like I could really like someone could listen to my shit and really resonate with that and feel that, and then I'm someone's favorite artist somewhere somehow, and I think that just like always motivates me because that's in my opinion more important than like anything else you would get in your music career, just to like have that.
Hmm. So who would you say is the all-time GOAT of music in your opinion?
Hmm.
All genres.
All genres. In hip hop, I'm gonna say Easy E and oldie, but a goodie. Um, I really want to say Kanye. He's really like not only he's just like a creative genius. I get he's in a lot of fucking controversy for so much shit, but he just really is like a creative genius and he thinks outside the box, and I love that about him.
Mm.
Um, on the pop side, really, Prince was one of them. Like I said, he was one of my biggest inspirations, but he was just that dude is insane. He was insane. Um, Elvis, freaking yeah. Like I don't think when it comes to those artists, like no one's gonna be able to touch them because they're just so out there.
Hmm. All right. So my final question for you is what's the biggest piece of advice that you would give to other artists who are trying to get to your level?
Mm. Stop being afraid so much. I know I was when I first like started putting out music because like I said, I had a fucking shit ton of SoundClouds that I kept leading and putting out music. And I was so self-conscious of my music. And of course, you want to be able to take criticism and know what sounds good and what doesn't. But the more you hold back, the longer you're gonna take to actually put out shit. So just stop being hard on yourself and like just take time to get good at your craft. And that's another thing too. Like all people have the mentality that like, oh, I can't do this or that because I wasn't born with it. I feel like a lot of people watch these interviews from artists that are like, oh yeah, I was just born with good flow or good lyricism. And for the majority of artists, even famous artists, that's not the case. You just kind of have to grow into it. So keep practicing, and I promise it'll pay off. No matter if it's mixing, songwriting, rapping, no matter what it is, like just keep practicing and you will get better. All right. You will. 100%.
Sure. All right, well, that's all we have for today. Make sure y'all go check out Jada's music if you haven't already. And if you want to be interviewed next or if you need Instagram promo, send me a DM on Instagram. Thanks for watching.